I'm not sure when you'll read this, but I can tell you when it all started. I was out for a walk in the woods when it came for me. The entity wasn't something I could see or describe. It was just an absence, a void where nothing existed. When it struck, I felt claws pierce me somewhere deep, somewhere I didn't even know existed. My body seemed fine, but I knew something was missing. As I ran home, I felt less, tired, unfocused. A cup of coffee brought me back to normal, and for a while, that was enough. It was during that time that I met Mar. We clicked immediately, and I fell for her fast. But as our relationship blossomed, the entity started to fight back. At first, it was minor, like the color of a neighbor's car changing or a coworker's name suddenly being different. I shrugged these off as mistakes, but then the shifts got more severe. One moment, I was in my bathroom, and the next, I was urinating on a random street, surrounded by strangers. It became clear that the entity was doing something to me, something I couldn't control. When Mar showed up at my place one evening with her own key, talking about us living together for 3 months, I knew something was very wrong. I had just met her a week before. After investigating, I discovered the truth. The entity had taken 3 months of my life. Over the next 3 years, I learned to live with the changes. They were small, like different street layouts or people's jobs, but they reminded me that the entity was still with me. I managed to keep things together, always staying vigilant, but one day, I let my guard down. I got absorbed in a TV show, and the next thing I knew, a young boy was shaking my arm, calling me daddy. My heart sank. I had a son, and I had missed the first years of his life. The entity had taken even more from me. I decided to get help, but no one could offer answers. Not the church, not the doctors. Out of options, I prepared to tell Mar everything, but when she showed up for what I thought would be a difficult conversation, she greeted me as if we were on our second date. The entity wasn't just taking time, it was shattering my life into fragments. I learned to live with the shifting, making the most of the time I had in each moment. I even got to experience some of the best parts of my life, like asking Mar to move in with me, knowing how special she'd become. But as time passed, the shifts grew more frequent. I feared that I would end up jumping from moment to moment, heartbeat to heartbeat, never able to truly live. One day, as I sat watching snowfall, a rare moment of peace, a teenager, my grandson, approached me. He was writing a horror novel, and it gave me an idea. I told him about my fragmented life, and he took me seriously. Together, we devised a plan. I would write down everything I experienced and leave it under the stairs. He would try to find a pattern in the chaos. As the shifts became more intense, I filled box after box with my notes. The shifting became unbearable. Names, places, and even people changed constantly. But I knew my grandson was out there, working to save me. Finally, one day, he brought me to a room filled with strange equipment. He had spent decades trying to understand what was happening to me. He showed me the creature, a parasite that fed on my mind and soul, causing the shifts. It was latched onto me, burrowing deeper with each passing moment. My grandson had a plan to remove it, but it would hurt. I didn't care. I was ready to be free. The process was excruciating, but it worked. The creature was gone, and I was young again, back in the woods where it all started. I returned home in a daze, trying to process everything that had happened. Then the phone rang. It was Mar, calling for the first time. I knew how it would all end. She would die, and I would be left alone. But now, I had my memories. The pain was worth it, because I had lived, really lived. I picked up the phone with a smile. "Hey, who's this?" I asked, even though I already knew. "Like, subscribe and hit the bell icon for more."